Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Sometimes you get a kind audience. Sometimes the audience is not so kind. I think we're going to be looking at the second type here because John Swinney is going to go and speak to the Confederation of British Industries annual lunch in Edinburgh. And indeed, he'll be there as we're putting this video out at 3:00. The lunch is at about 1:00, but it's one of those big corporate multi-layered devices. You know, they 5 or 6 courses. You know, and then there'll be a few speakers afterwards. The keynote speech, of course, will be John Swinney. And it's probably going to think, oh, it's going to be lovely, isn't it? It's going to be great. Here I am on the stage, holding court with all these fine, wonderful people of influence and wealth and money and talent. And they're going to look at me and think, here he comes, the First Minister. So glad to hear the wise words in which this man will impart. Well, that's what's going on inside Swinney's head, I'm sure. The reality is somewhat different. Because just this morning, just prior to Swinney giving this address, one of the flagship policies of his wonderful SNP party has been ripped apart by that very organisation, the CBI. The chief executive of the CBI has basically ripped the SNP government a new one because of its high tax policies, particularly having higher income tax in Scotland than the rest of Britain. But all the other little things as well, the not passing on of non-domestic rates and so forth. And basically this high tax regime is damaging businesses. Now, this isn't new. They've known about this. They've been told about this. And the empirical evidence is in. They're seeing that businesses are suffering because of it. And of course, you've got the build up to the last budget by Shona Robison, which will be the last budget by Shona Robison, one hopes. I mean, surely she can't go on. The plan was, and they were besieged, the SNP and Shona particularly was besieged by businesses. Please, God, do away with this high tax regime. It's not working. It's damaging us. Well, she didn't. And it continued, and it gets worse. And so now all this money that's being wasted on this and that and the other, all the other stupid things, it's coming back to bite them. And now he has to stand in front of this very organisation, the CBI, and say a speech that's probably written under different circumstances, thinking he'd be welcome, as he's just going to get glowering faces from all these people looking at him and thinking, you're a wee tit or something, an incompetent tool. You're damaging our business, you're damaging Scotland, you're damaging everything because of your blatant disregard for reality. Reality is high taxes damage businesses. So he's going to be a brave man getting on that stage and addressing these people. Rain Newton-Smith, who's the CBI Scotland's chief executive, has blasted the divergence of tax codes and said they've had an opportunity to fix it. They chose not to. We are going to make our presence felt at this lunch. Well, if that's not a threat, I don't know what is. Dearie me. They do need to reduce it, just generally. But it's like why is it? And it's not just Shona Robinson. We've got it as well with Rachel Reeves. You've got finance ministers who haven't got basically the first effing clue about finance or taxes or how monetary supply works or how anything works. They're all morons. They're all dumb. And they make a big virtue, but they're ladies. Don't care. I don't care the sex of the finance ministers. What I want is finance ministers who know about finance. Wouldn't that be nice? Let me know what you think. Thanks very much. Goodbye.